to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rowling. Do you believe you are capable of choosing your future? Sometimes it takes just one person to believe in you, or you to believe in yourself. If you find yourself continuing to say, someday I will take better care of myself, only to continue living the same day over and over and over again, then you, my friend, are in the right place. I am your biggest cheerleader, inspiring you to become you on purpose and with intention. Are you ready to create a life you love? I'm excited to share with you some big ideas that you can use today to inspire, impact, and influence your life and everyone in it. The Becoming You show starts now. Hello, my friends. How are you? Can you believe that the month is almost over? It's crazy. How have you been? How has your month been? Who is doing the push-up challenge with me? I want to know. I want to hear from you guys. I love hearing from you. I do. I get super, super giddy knowing that someone else is listening to me talk about the work that I do and the research that I do. And I love it when someone says that someone that they knew shared this podcast with them. And I just want to take just a second just to let you know how very much I appreciate every share, every comment, every like, every follow. I want everyone to know about the work we do. I want everyone to live more consciously, to understand this dance between thinking and feeling and choosing capacity over ability. And I want everyone to know not only about what it means to be emotionally mature, but how to do it. And one of the things that I talked about in one of my presentations recently is this concept of emotional maturity and how it is required to create massive amounts of results in your life. And for those of us that are impatient, right, create them 2 times faster than those of us that don't have it. And so how, right? Well, first, we have to understand what emotional maturity is. Emotional maturity is taking responsibility, right, for our emotions. It's understanding what emotions are, their vibrations in the body, created by sentences in the mind, right? Anger, frustration, mad, sad, glad, all emotions, okay? And when we blame our emotions on other people based on what they do or they don't do, or when we escape our feelings by buffering, we slow the progress of our life down. I want you to think about it like this. I want you to think about your life as a road. And when you stay in your lane, you will get to where you want to go more quickly, more efficiently, more effectively, more effortlessly. And what takes us off course, what derails us from our lane, is our inability to manage our emotions. That's what derails us. When we blame other people for how we feel, we get detoured, we get rerouted, right? We struggle to get back on course, right? We lose our way when we write our expectations. When we expect other people, right, adults, to be different, better, more in some way, so that we can feel better, we slow, if not halt, our travel. The good majority of us spend way too much time thinking about how other people should be, and not enough time thinking about how we should be. Do you see how this could slow down your growth, slow down the goals that you want for your life? We are just all too busy worried about what other people are doing and how they're doing it, and not enough time dreaming, imagining, and taking massive actions towards the results that we want in our life. We also slow down the progress of our life when we overconsume in our attempt to underfeel. Think about how much time and money and energy and resources that we spend in our life in order to escape negative emotions. And we will continue to do so until we make peace with the fact that the goal of life is not to be happy all the time. And when we don't know that, we will overconsume, overeat, overshop, over social media, overdo, over Netflix to trick our brain into thinking that it's happy when it's not. And we will be looking for short-term gratification instead of life satisfaction and wonder why we never feel happy or fulfilled. All of this overconsumption distracts us from what it is that we really want. It delays our progress and it causes us to doubt our capabilities because we naturally lose momentum every time we trade consumption for creation. So emotional maturity really comes down to relinquishing your expectations of others, your expectations of the world, and the expectations from others that are placed onto you. And this is what I wanted to talk about today. I want you to think about it in this way. When we blame others for how we feel, we are projecting our expectations onto them. Okay? When we try to avoid how we feel by over-consuming the world, we put our expectations on the world in hopes that we will finally be happy in it. Releasing these two expectations will not only free us from unnecessary pain, but it will get us back on our path. And similarly, letting go of the need to meet others' expectations of you frees you to get more familiar with the expectations of your own, AKA, you guys, your dreams, your desires. And it's a friendly reminder that other people's expectations of you are about them, not you. Your parents' expectations of you, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, it has to do with them. The expectations that your friends have, your siblings have, your kids have about who you should be is about who they need you to be. And when we live our life for other people, we will not be living our life. We will be living someone else's. And so when we live our life based on others' expectations, it is because we don't trust ourselves and we don't trust our own knowing. And when we have expectations of others, it's because we don't trust ourselves to meet our own needs. And this is a really important topic because I'm on a mission right now to enroll people in their potential. And as long as they are trying to live up to the expectations of other people, they can't possibly be living into the capacity that is available for them. So I want to spend today giving you a few tools and mindsets, both, to shift you out of expectations that you have for other people, expectations of the world in hopes that if it offers this up to you, that you can finally feel good in it, and releasing the need to take on other people's expectations as the burden that you bear, so that you can shift back into the lane, your lane, that is your life. So the first tool, right, it won't surprise you, that we're going to talk about today is self-awareness. This is where we start. This is where we always start, okay? And for the purposes of this podcast, I want you to think about self-awareness is kind of that pin of your location, right? In a Google map, okay, it's where you are. So the question then is, where are you? Okay. And I believe that more transformation and change is curbed because there are not enough people knowing where they are. And without that knowledge, it is next to impossible to get where you want to go. What kind of clarity and direction would you get if you typed into Google Maps, right, where it prompts you to enter in, where are you? If you were to enter in, I don't know. You wouldn't get very many directions, if any, at all. So in order for you to get directions, to have momentum, to know the path, you have to know where you're starting. Awareness is essential. And one of my favorite tools for self-awareness, as you probably know, is journaling. So here's my challenge for you today. Can you dedicate time each day to write down the expectations that you feel are imposed upon you? Who do you think your parents want you to be? Who do you think your kids need you to be? A lot of those are assumptions that you may or may not want to check with the person that you're like giving permission to put their expectations on you. I want you to identify where they come from and how they make you feel. And where is it exactly that people want you to think and feel and show up different than you are? And then you get bonus points if you navigate the expectations that you have for others. Who do you think, expect, wish were just a little bit different in your life? Is it your kids? Maybe if they were just a little less messy. Maybe if they were just a little more organized. Maybe if they actually just did something that you asked them to do. And whether that's your kids or your significant other or your spouse or your team member, whoever it is, when you free yourself from that expectation, you free yourself to be reconnected with yourself every time. And the mindset that's required for this self-awareness is the belief that understanding who you are is and will forever be the first step that's required towards change. Recognizing that not every expectation aligns with your true desires or values. Remind yourself that all expectations, all of them, the ones that you have for other people and the ones that other people have for you, are thoughts. And thoughts are the organizing philosophy of the person with the thought. All expectations, then, are just imposed thoughts, beliefs, and too many times limit the possibilities for ourselves and for other people, right? Limited possibilities are all based on other people's life experience, not yours. Okay? So self-awareness, that's the first thing that I want you to really understand as it relates to relinquishing these expectations from your life. Mindful reflection is another tool. And it's again, one of my very favorite tools to do mindful reflection is meditation. And I know this will not surprise you, but too many of us are way, 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 way too attached to the thoughts and beliefs and outcomes that other people present to us, want from us. And we are not focused enough on what we might want for ourselves. And I love to use a focused meditation to detach myself from all of the noise, all of the external voices that tell me that I should be this, or I should be more like this, or should be less like this. I should be less animated with my hands. I should say less rights when I present. Like whatever whatever. People are going to have an opinion of you. I just accept it. When people are like, I'm just worried that they'll judge me, I say, drop the worry. They are. I promise you they are. You don't have to worry, right? If there's a worry that the entire world can just release right now, it's the worry that they might be judged. Because you are. You might be judged positively and you might be judged negatively. Right? And we talked about that last week on the podcast, taking offense. Okay? I don't give much credit to either. If people judge me positively, it says more about them thinking and feeling positive about humans. If they judge me negatively, it has to do more about what they're thinking or negatively and feeling negatively. It doesn't mean that I don't do reflection work on whatever it is that they say. It doesn't mean that I don't stop for a minute and be like, I wonder if that's true. I wonder if there is some growth opportunity. I wonder if in their offense, there is curriculum for my betterment. Probably so. Good to know. Okay. But I don't make it mean anything, right? I don't make the positive stuff validate who I am. And I also don't make the negative stuff invalidate who I am. Okay. So there's a lot more that I said in the podcast last week on taking offense. But back to meditation, and the reason why it's really important is because it allows me to detach from all of the noise, from all the external voices on what people think I should be, and connect with who I want to be, who I choose to be, consciously on purpose. And what this requires is an acceptance mindset, an understanding that you cannot control other people's expectations, but you can control with 100% your reaction to them. You can control whether or not you meet them or you carve your own path. And if you've been with me for a while, right, you know that you can't control your reaction to them if you are in judgment of them. And remember, what you don't accept, you judge. You want to show up for them differently. You want to show up for yourself differently. Acceptance is required. The other tool that I want you to consider as it relates to expectations and why it is that, we have them for other people and why it is that we shoulder them for other people is we don't know our values. It's this value identification, right? Knowing your values, knowing your clarity words is key to not falling prey to the whims of what everyone wants. Your values and your clarity words become the litmus test, if you will, on what you do. And I say this a lot, but you can't possibly know what you do if you don't know who you are. You can't possibly know what to do if you don't know who you are. So can you take a minute to reflect on what it is that you value? Because when you know your values, you will never have to have another difficult conversation again. And you will make so much more progress on your life because you won't constantly be doubting your decisions. Overthinking every single opportunity that comes into your life because you're not clear on who it is that you are. And when you're clear on who it is that you are, your decisions will align with what it is that you want and you value in your life. You won't be over yesing for everyone else. Every time we over yes for everyone else, we undervalue our value. We lose trust in our decision making. We start to say things like, when I don't think about things more logically, I make bad decisions. When I don't ask more questions, I make bad decisions. When I'm too quick to make decisions, they usually turn out bad for me. You guys, I hear these thoughts all the time in my coaching calls. And these are just thoughts. None of them are facts. And when you know what you want for your life, making decisions are easy. They shouldn't take you a lot of time. The decision can be as simple as, yep, that's a yes for me. It aligns with my values and the expansiveness of who I want to become. Or nope, it's just no. That's a no for me right now. It doesn't work. It's no good for my future. It doesn't fit for what I have in mind. But we blame and we excuse our inability to make decisions on these ideas and these beliefs from the past. Like, oh, every time I make a quick decision, it turns out bad for me. Okay? As if that's even a thing. Okay. So when you know that, I want you, when you know your values, you won't be at the whim of everyone's expectation. And here's the other thing. When you know your values, you won't need anyone else's to meet it. You won't need anyone else to have your values. Therefore, you'll drop the expectation that they should be more like you and value what you value. Because the only reason why we think other people should value what we value is probably because we're either not clear on our values or we're not sure those are the right values for us. Because when you know your values, you don't need anyone else to know. Right? And so when we think about the mindset that's required to honor our values in this way, it's really just prioritizing personal alignment, recognizing that living in accordance with your values leads to greater fulfillment than meeting external expectations. Congruency in our mindset is critical. The other tool that I want you to kind of take on is this idea of assertive communication. This idea of communication is something that I coach on a lot. People have not been taught how to communicate, how to effectively communicate their needs, because we spend way too much time thinking about what other people think about and not near enough about what we think about. Do you see how we get into trouble? We make assumptions that they're going to be mad, that they are going to think that you should do it differently, that they're just not going to understand. And here's the thing. They can't possibly understand if we don't understand. We must know what it is that we want, what it is that we need. And from that space, share our desires. And that's why I love this tool, this I statement tool. When communicating your boundaries or your needs, I want you to use statements that begin with I to express your feelings without laying out a bunch of blame. Too many times we use what I call low-level communication, and we use words like you or always or never, and we wonder why it is that we find ourselves in difficult situations. We just made it difficult by giving them something to get defensive about. And it takes a very rare, high emotional intelligence to not get defensive when we are being viewed all over. Okay. When we use shaming words like always and never, it's really next to impossible for the other person to not get defensive. When we learn how to communicate our needs and our wants, because it truly does have nothing to do with anyone else. We don't have to project our assumptions onto them. And again, you can't possibly know what they are thinking unless, of course, you ask. And so many of us are just not asking the questions. And so this tool is really an invitation, if you will, to become empowered, to have and adopt an empowering mindset. Okay, and what that requires of us is choosing to believe that you are worthy, that you are deserving to communicate your needs and your desires. And for so many of us, we're not, because we're too worried that someone else might be offended. And I'm not saying that we don't think about it consciously, how we want to show up and how we want to communicate. That's the point. But so many of us shut down the conversation, shut down the opportunity to have the conversation because we're way more worried about what someone else might think and feel than sharing and expressing honest, subtly how we are. Okay, a couple last tools before we close out on this conversation that I want to give to you. As it relates to our expectations, still, what visual reminders do you have in place? When was the last time you looked at your goals? When was the last time you journaled your ambitions? When was the last time you stood in front of your vision board and really felt something? Why is this important? 2 reasons. First, I don't think we lose motivation. I just think that we forget to remind ourselves of it. And secondly, when we're so focused on our vision, our goals, our ambitions, our expectations of ourselves, we don't get lost in the weeds of what other people think we should be doing. And we also don't project our expectations on what other people are doing. We are so focused, laser focused on the work, the good work that we are trying to do in our life, right? To be the role model, to be the lighthouse, to be that amazing, brilliant human that we are, that we're not worried about what other people are thinking about us. And we're also not spending an exorbitant amount of time thinking about what other people are doing. We're just letting other people be other people. And so the tool of vision boarding isn't just something that's fun to do at the beginning of every year, friends. Like any of these other tools, right? In my opinion, they're non-negotiables. It's essential that we look at our goals every day. We write out our ambitions every day. We stand in front of our vision board every day and we feel something. We feel something for our future, right? Because that is what is going to keep us moving. That's keeping our momentum. That's keeping us on course, staying motivated. And taking this to the next level is then visualizing that success. I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. I want you to sense it. I want you to smell it. I want you to trust it. I want you to believe in it. And so these are some of the tools and the mindsets that are required in order for you truly to stay on path, to make more progress in your life faster. Because when you get off course, right? When you're expecting other people to be different for you so you can feel better, you navigate off of the road. And also when you are letting other people's expectations burden you, you slow yourself down because you're trying to sift through it all. You're trying to sift, is that my expectation or is that somebody else's? And again, doing these tools, knowing these tools will help you. Self-awareness, knowing where you are, meditation, visualization, writing down your goals are all really important ways to not get distracted in your expectations of other people and other people's expectations of you. And always, 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 if you want to learn how to do this work and make massive amounts of shifts in your life quickly, right? Because you have places to go. You have a movement to make. You have a purpose to fulfill. And I want you to do that. And I want you to do that as big as possible. And to do that, you're going to need support. And if it's not me, I want it to be somebody. So if you want support in doing this work, follow me in the show notes. Get on the wait list for Shift. We're launching some amazing programs. I don't want you to miss it. So get on our wait list and more to come with that here soon. Until then, until next week, I will see you soon. Have an amazing one, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Becoming You show with me, your host, Leah Rolling, where I share big ideas to inspire, impact, and influence your life. Tune in every Friday at 11 Central on transformationtalkradio.com for your morning cup of coffee, the hug you never want to end, and that inspirational message that you felt was written just for you. Each show is inspiring you to become you with purpose and intention. For more information or to connect with me, visit www.leahrowling.com.